Cooking with Denise. Today we are making my best ever beef stew, and I think you're really going to enjoy it as I do. Let's get started and look at our ingredients. For our ingredients, we have salt pork, about 2 ounces. We have 3 cloves of garlic, 5 stems of thyme and 3 bay leaves, 2 tablespoons of flour, about a cup of chopped onions, a pound and a half of meat. I choose to do sirloin steak cut into cubes. You could buy stew meat or a flat iron, any type of that sort of meat. I have 2 cups of potatoes, cut into 1-inch cubes. You could have on up to 3 or 4 cups of potatoes, that's up to you. I've got 1 cup of carrots, 1.5 cup of celery, both chopped, extra virgin olive oil. I've got chicken stock as well as beef stock, and I've got red wine and salt and pepper. Those are ingredients for our beef stew today. I've started by heating my pan up to medium-high, and now I'm going to add my salt pork. You could use bacon instead of salt pork. I suggest about 4 strips of bacon. And we're going to brown that salt pork, render the fat. Our salt pork has browned up nicely. Fat is rendered out. And so I'm going to transfer this to another pan. Next, I'm adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm going to add half of my meat. I don't want it to be too crowded in there. I'm wanting to brown it. So I'm just going to do half of it at a time. We're on medium-high heat. And we just want to do enough to brown on each side. Each side of my meat has browned, so now I'm going to remove this batch into a bowl for later. My second half of my meat. And we're going to brown that on all sides. This helps keep the juiciness of the meat inside. Now I have removed the second batch of the meat to another platter, and I'm going to stir in the onions. We want to brown these onions, get all the good flavor out. I am going to add a tablespoon of olive oil to give these a little more oil to cook in. There we go. The onions are browning up nicely. Now I'm going to add my 3 cloves of garlic that's been chopped. All that good tasty garlic up. And those were rather small cloves of garlic, by the way. Now we're going to let those cook for about 30 seconds, just enough to get that flavoring out, but not enough to burn. Heat down a little. Now then, I'm going to slowly add my 3 tablespoons of flour. Stir it in. You want this flour to brown up. Next is my favorite part. We're going to add wine. I use a red wine, and there's no need to spend a lot of money on the wine, but you should get a dry wine. I've gotten a big bold red, and so I'm going to add 2 cups of red wine while I'm stirring to get any bits of meat and flavor off the bottom. I'm scraping the bottom, and I'm going to let the alcohol cook out of that wine. Next, I'm going to add some chicken stock. And that's about 1.5 cups. Doing it stirring. And then some beef stock. And that's about 2 cups of beef stock. We're going to bring that to a boil. And let's go on and add our thyme and bay leaves. That's 3 bay leaves. And I've got about 5 to 6 sprigs of thyme. Now I'm bringing this to a boil, and I'm going to add my meat back to the pot now. It's got my salt pork and my beef in it. I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of salt. And about 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. I use fresh ground. Okay, now I'm going to cover this and let it simmer for about an hour. And then we'll get back to it and add our vegetables. The stew has been simmering covered for about an hour now. And I've got it boiling. I'm going to add my carrots. It's a cup of carrots sliced thinly. Want that out of there. And 1.5 cups of celery. And 2 cups of potatoes. Stir that up a little. I'm going to cover it. We're going to let that cook for about 20 minutes or until tender. Ready. Our vegetables have cooked for about 20 minutes and they're tender now. And so it is ready to remove the bay leaves. Remove the bay leaves and the thyme stems, and it is ready to serve. I suggest serving it with sourdough bread and a nice bold red wine. So I'm serving it to my friends tonight, and I hope that you enjoy this stew as much as I do. Thanks for watching.